Hi, I'm Ed again, and today is Wednesday, July 21st, I think we decided, 2020. And we're here again. We're partly experimenting. Let's say Luis is experimenting with our green screen. The last video was the first one that we had a video in the background, which is a kind of an interesting experiment. Anyway, I want to, I was going to say what I want to talk about, but I always start that with, well, today is going to be a little loosey-goosey. I think we could say that for everyone I do. But I want to talk about me and my experience again. I'm 80 years old, 80 and 3 months. My birthday was in April. So tomorrow is 3 months into my 81st year. So I guess you could say I'm 80 and a quarter. But anyway, on my main, oh boy, excuse me. The main topics that I talk about, of course, is, first of all, is the God real? And as far as I can see so far, there's absolutely no evidence that, again, I'll talk about it, but I don't even know what the hell they're talking about when we use the word God. And I've been doing it for years and years. I can't get any inkling of what they're talking about when people talk about it. So anyway, that's the one idea, which I think is mostly what I'm going to be talking about today, the idea of, does this deity actually exist, or is it something we conjure up? I know I'm pretty close to the hard over on the it's something we conjure up. And in fact, I don't even know what the hell is being conjured up. I just don't understand. Anyway, the other half is that I talk about, does it exist, this deity, Yahweh or Jehovah or whatever we want to call it, because I'm thinking mostly now in the, the Christian religion. Well, I think the thing would work for any religion. But, so the other half is the Bible a good book to use for, I don't know, trying to understand how to live your life, learning about morality and that kind of thing? And my answer to that is no also. On the issue of, does the deity exist? Well, I mean, we have to be a little bit up in the air, because it's pretty hard to say, no, it absolutely doesn't. Depends on how you define it. But as far as the Bible being a bad book to use as a guidebook for life, that I'm absolutely sure of. But I'm not going to talk about that part today, I don't think. So anyway, for much of my life, especially in the last 20 years, when I've been doing this exploration and trying to understand what it is people believe and why they believe it, and trying to put that in perspective, including what the hell's going on right now. We're in hopefully it's the tail end of this pandemic, this fear virus because that's basically what I call it now. The part that is the scariest is, interestingly enough, is the fear. Fear is scary. There's nothing to fear but fear, we know those kinds of things. But anyway, through much of my life I've had, especially the recent part of my life, say the last 20 years, I love having discussions. You heard me talk about in other videos, discussions. I've got a couple of friends. In fact, one friend just down the road just reopened a restaurant here, and we went with a couple of friends there for dinner the other night. And we didn't get to talk about religion because we were with other people. but I've got another friend that's a Jehovah's Witness, you've heard me mention. His name David also, two Davids. And another one, Ron, who is a preacher, or kind of the born-again style of preacher, I suppose you'd say. But in the conversations, sometimes, not necessarily with any of those folks that I just mentioned, but generally, there comes this thing that, well, wait till you get old and then you'll believe. If you're an atheist, when you get old. I think it's the same kind of argument, isn't it? The old no atheists in foxholes, which is bullshit too, of course. Wait till you get into a situation where you're concerned about your life, and then you'll start believing this thing that when you're in a life-threatening situation in a war, that's when everybody's a theist, everybody prays, and of course that's total bullshit.
No.
But talking about the idea of the potential and the assertion by some believers that you atheists, when you get older, you're going to start to believe. And like I said, it's the idea of no atheists in foxholes sort of thing. When you're in danger, you'll call out to God or something like that. So I mean, back when in the last, say, 10, 15, even years ago, I was thinking, well, maybe when I get to be, the age I am now, 80 or something, I'm not sure what their argument that when you're afraid of death, then you're going to start to believe in something, but that doesn't, if that's what they're suggesting, that doesn't seem to work for me, because it seems to be like saying, yeah, you don't believe in Santa Claus, but wait till Christmas comes around, then you'll start believing in Santa Claus. Well, it doesn't happen. I don't start believing in Santa Claus at Christmas time. And I don't, okay, so far, I'm, like I said, I think I said at the beginning, I'm 80 and a third years old. And with this amount of age, and so far, I'm at the point, where is this thing? I talk to people, I talk to religious people, I say, look, you believe, tell me. If it's true, I want to believe it. I can't seem to get anywhere with that argument. Most of the people that I'm talking about don't want to talk about what they believe. I'd like them, if they really believe it, I'd like them to convince me, or at least give me the opportunity to see the truth of the thing. So, my experience is, being at this age, that rather than start to go, well, gee, maybe God exists or something like that, it seems to work exactly the opposite. The more I discuss it, the more I think about the issues and all of that, the reasons that people offer for believing. The most consistent thing that I think I've heard, and this is mostly online, a little bit talking directly to people, is the idea of personal experience. They talk directly to God or have some kind of communication with God of that sense. Now, I'm not sure if I'm exactly repeating myself, but as I at least started to say, with my age, being 80 and everything, I did a lot of work on the heaven thing, because it was only maybe a year or so ago, I might have made a video on it. I started thinking of the idea of heaven. I never got infected with the hell idea. I ducked that one And I'm not sure if I'm glad I did or wish that I'd had to go through the experience of believing that. So I never, I was raised in a Catholic church, as I mentioned many times, but I never got I don't know why. I think mostly I didn't get the fear of hell because I didn't really have it shoved at me. It was just kind of thing you'd hear once in a while, rather than the people that I hear about that really get hung up on the hell idea, and even sometimes they get out of their faith and escape religion and everything, but even after that still suffer with fears of hell, maybe even nightmares, that kind of thing, because the indoctrination is very, very effective and drives those ideas deep, it seems to me. Although I have to, as I said, I'm speaking from the position of never having gone through the learning or being brainwashed or whatever the hell you call it into believing that hell was real. So I think that the big thing is now with this idea, you get old enough, you're going to believe in stuff. As I said, it hasn't happened yet, but I'm wide open. I'd love to hear people tell me what they believe and why. It seems, I won't bullshit you, it seems absolutely a ridiculous concept to me, but there's things that have seemed like ridiculous concepts to me before, and I learned to come to believe in them. So I'm open to the idea, if somebody is willing to share their evidence or the reasons that they actually believe, I'd love to hear them. So far, as I said, that hasn't happened, and it's I have fewer opportunities to actually try to get people to go through the exercise. It's really difficult with Christians, because when I talk to them, as soon as I start asking them questions, tell me why you believe, because if it's true, I want to know. They get really defensive, and they think they're being set up. Like I want to say, aha, you don't really believe it. But no, I really want to know exactly what they believe, and especially why they believe it. So far, it looks like it might stick with me for a while. I'm still atheist, a bird with no cage, and I'm certainly, to borrow once again Ron Reagan's line. He works for the Freedom Religion Foundation. Now, I don't know if works with them, but he doesn't know if he works for them, but he works with them at any rate. And he's the one that I like stealing that line from, not afraid of burning in hell. And so I just want to bring this to a conclusion. I just want to tell you again, I'm Ed, I'm 80 years old. I don't know if I'm a lifelong atheist, but I don't ever remember having a belief in any deity, and I'm not sure what I believed about spirits and the holy. I was Catholic. The Holy Mother, what's her name? Blessed Mary, the Mother of God. No, I don't know what I believed in it, but with age, it sure as hell is not happening that I'm automatically accepting any of these things. So as I said, I'm 80 years old. It's July 21st. And we're going to call it quits for today, and Jose Luis is going to work on this video. see how it comes out. Okay, thanks. Bye.